Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do a full face using the most expensive products in my collection. I had this wild idea when I was cleaning out my makeup and I was thinking, I have so many expensive products, I need to use them. So why not just use them all at once on one look? It's definitely something different. I don't usually do some of these eye looks or combination, but it was really fun and just enjoy the video. I do want to put a disclaimer that I am doing a pop-up of how much these products currently cost at their full price. When I bought it, it was probably a little bit cheaper because of time, inflation, whatever, but that is just a rough estimate of how much this face of makeup costs. So without further ado, let's get to the video. Let's start first with prepping and priming our skin. I'm going to actually use two different primers and it's very luxurious. So first, I'm going to take my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base on the center of my face because I feel like this has a putty consistency that really helps blur my pores and just gets in the crevices of all these, bumps and all that jazz. So let's do that first. This has a really wonderful citrus scent to it that I really like. It smells really fresh. It's kind of just like a mandarin peel, which is awesome. And yeah, we're just going to take that and spread it on the face. Next, we're going to put on another primer. I saw this technique from Michelle Wong's video. So essentially what she did is she took the Westman Atelier liquid cream, highlighter, and she actually applied it on the high points of her face as a primer, and I'm going to do that as well. I have this Westman Atelier highlighter stick illuminator in the shade Lit, and this is a beautiful transparent glitter with some reflective purple and blue iridescent shimmers. It's just absolutely stunning. I really like this product. It is very pricey and expensive, but it does make the makeup look nice, and I do have to say that. So I'm just going to draw it on the perimeters of my face where I didn't really apply any of that Bobbi Brown primer. I think it's more obvious on my forehead, but can you see how it's almost purple and blue? It's a little bit intimidating at first when I first bought this, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is gonna look horrible on my skin. But it turned out really pretty, and I was pleasantly surprised by that, especially when you blend it in and you put it underneath your foundation. It does not show. It's just a beautiful glimmer and it makes your skin look really juicy. Before we actually use foundation or concealer to give my face some coverage and even it out, I'm actually going to take the Rare Beauty bronzer stick in the shade Bright Side, which is actually a cool toned brown, which I use for my contour, and I really like using it underneath my foundation because that way it doesn't have too much coverage. So we can just draw it on like so, like that. So you can draw out the perimeters of my face and give it some shading even before I put on a base. That way it looks much more dimensional. I really like how easily this product just blends into your skin. Also, one thing I love about actually applying your contour before your foundation is it doesn't have to be super neat. You can just blend it and it can be really messy because either way you're going to put on another layer. But like that, we can see how my face looks a little bit more snatched than usual and it has that shading. Okay, now we're going to go in with foundation. I'm going to use the Laneige Neo Matte Cushion Foundation and I use the shade 23. This is a wonderful cushion if you want to get medium coverage and just even out your skin tone. It has a matte finish as suggested in the name of the product, and it will last all day. It also has a very interesting mesh. It has these holes in it so you can really get as much product as possible. But what I like to do, you guys know, tap some of the excess on the lid and then apply all over the face. Make sure we blend on top of where we put the little bronzer contour situation, otherwise it's going to look messy. There we are with a nice and even complexion that looks a lot more 3D, and we can see because we put the highlighting stick underneath it, my skin still looks radiant, but it does actually have a matte finish when you look at it up close. This really helps with longevity, but also makes your makeup look a lot dewier. I'm gonna get up close and personal out of the sun. You can see how my skin still looks like my skin, but just so much better. It just is a great technique. You can see we have some highlights, but here it actually is matte. So that's why I really love this technique, and I think it's something you guys should try out. Next, we're going to go in with concealer, and my most expensive one is the Hourglass Hidden Concealer in the shade Pearl. This is a cream concealer that is medium coverage, but it gives a really skin-like finish and lasts all day. I'm just going to draw it straight onto my face. It works perfectly like that. Just giving the areas where I feel like need a little bit extra coverage a little bit of help. And here's a tip: if you want your makeup to be a bit more full coverage, just let it sit for a little bit and then blend it out. Now I'm going to take a fluffy brush and blend the concealer into my skin. There we are, a very flawless base. And what I'm going to do now, you guys know I love using a setting spray to really lock it all in, and I'm going to use the Rare Beauty Always an Optimist setting spray because this does have an oil layer. I feel like it's much better for me to mush in my products than to actually set. Give it a good shake and spritz. Whilst we let that set, I'm actually going to apply a little bit of lip balm. I forgot to do this earlier, but this is the NARS Afterglow Lip Balm, and I have this in the shade Dolce Vita. It is a very hydrating lip balm. Very expensive. I don't think it's necessarily worth the price, but because I'm such a sucker for NARS products, I had to show you guys, and it just gives a really beautiful rosy tint. Can we see that? And the formula is actually really nice. It feels more oily rather than waxy, so it just melts onto your skin, which is really lovely. Doesn't really have a scent at all, and the rose gold packaging is truly stunning. I really like this. I think it's really hydrating, and it's good for days where you actually don't have a lot of makeup and you can just put this on because it's tinted. It just makes you feel so put together. Now that everything has settled down, we're going to actually powder my face. We're going to use my NARS translucent crystal light reflecting powder, and this is just a favorite of mine. I absolutely adore it. You guys know how much I enjoy using this product, and I'm going to actually use a big fluffy brush today and pick up some product on it and just gently press. I used to really like using a powder puff to go with it, but I think for today's makeup look I want it to be light and reflective. I don't want it to be too mattified. So press where you want the most product to be, and then slowly whatever's left, blend it all out. Next, we're going to go in with some blush, and the most expensive one in my collection is from Chantecaille. This is the, oh gosh, almost fell, Chantecaille blush in the shade Bliss/Butterfly, and this is really cool product because it is actually refillable, so you can just put a needle through here, pop it open, and you'll get a new refill. That way it's a lot more affordable for Chantecaille, so you can keep on recycling and reusing it, which is really awesome. And this is a beautiful nude pink for every single day. I absolutely love this shade. I have used a lot. You can see from my dent in there. And yeah, it's also a really cute and chic packaging. It's very small, fits in the palm of my hand, and actually resembles a pebble. It's a little bit asymmetrical and textured here, which is really cute. But let's actually apply it onto the face and give it a go. I'm going to use a bougie brush of mine, the Wayne Goss number 13, and I'm just going to swirl it in there and pat it onto my cheeks. It does have quite a lot of fallout and kickback in the pan, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but the actual product when you put it on your face is absolutely stunning. It looks really beautiful, and it's one of my favorite powder blush formulas. Now I'm actually going to deepen the outer corners of my cheeks with another blush. I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic in Pillow Talk. This has a darker and more oolong milk tea shaded blush, which I'm going to put on the outside corner because one-dimensional blush is not it for me. I really like using two, you guys know that, and instantly we can see it just makes it look a lot more 3D. Now I know what you're thinking, this looks a bit scary, right? But this is actually all planned because next we're going to go in with the Hourglass Ambience Light Reflecting Powder Trio, and what that does is essentially it helps to blur and buff the skin to give it more of a shimmery and dewy texture whilst making it actually set the face. So this is a really nice finishing powder. This is a really good trio as a finishing powder because it helps to juice up the skin and take away any excess pigment. So I'm just going to go through all of these, mix it up a little bit with my setting powder brush, tap off the excess, and blend through my cheeks. This way I don't even need a highlighter. Can we see how immediately that settles down the cheeks and it gives a little bit of extra shimmer and glimmer? So pretty. I'm loving how the makeup is looking so far, and now we're going to move on to eyes. For the eyes, the most expensive palettes I have in my collection are the Pat McGrath palettes. I have it in Bronze Seduction and Midnight Sun, and these palettes are so luxurious and beautiful, and I do use them quite a lot, but I do have a lot of palettes in general, so I don't rotate around them as much as I would like. However, these are great palettes and I do enjoy using them, and I'm going to use both of them on my eyes today just because you know, we want to play around with the makeup. First, I'm going to take Bronze Seduction, and I'm going to take this matte chocolate shade and set it all over the lids. Very subtle, just so we have some powder to work with for later. Next, I'm going to go in with Midnight Sun. I'm going to take this slightly burnt orange shade and deepen my eyes. Now I'm going to make my eyes a little bit more fun by taking this Periwinkle shade from my Midnight Sun palette and patting it all over the lids. Going to take the brush from earlier and just blend out the edges. Now I'm going to go back in with my Bronze Seduction palette and take this deep eggplant purple and just, you know, really emphasize on the outer corners. Look at that, that is so pretty. I think it's because I'm under direct sun, it looks very subtle, but it's actually very wow and shimmery and beautiful. Now I'm thinking about what I want to do for my lower lash line, and I don't really know. I think I might just want to keep the purple all the way. So I'm going to take this dark eggplant and trace it for my smoky eye. Taking a detailed brush, I'm going to take the milk chocolate shade from earlier and continue with my smoky eye. Now this wouldn't be a Pat McGrath video if we don't use one of these super sparkly shades, so I'm going to take this icy cold green iridescent and put it on the inner corners. To give it more of a wow, I'm going to use this golden green and just layer on top of it. For the inner corners, I'm going to actually blitz it up a little bit more using my Midnight Sun, this super sparkly white champagne shade, and just brush it on ever so slightly. Yep, that is stunning. I am feeling so sparkly and pretty right now. So that's it for the eyes. Now we're going to use eyeliner. For eyeliner, I'm going to use the Patrick Tar Precision Gel Liner in the shade Deep Bronze, which is actually also shimmery, which really adds to the theme, and I'm going to really do a dramatic eyeliner. That being said, I can't really do that on camera, so I'm going to be back when the eyeliner is finished. So I went ahead and did my eyeliner. It did take a while because I was up close to a mirror, but I'll show you guys what I did. Essentially, I traced the lower lash line like this, the waterline, and made it really deep to help the smoky eye effect. And because it's shimmery, it's really beautiful for doing that. I slightly winged it out, and I also traced the top of my eyes with this eyeliner. So this is a really great one. Really, really soft and gentle. Next, I'm going to do my brows while we wait for the eyeliner to really like settle and do its thing. This is the Espoir Precision, I think, eyebrow pencil. I can't really remember. I'll do a pop-up. And this is in the shade Classic 1 Brown. It's a really, really fine eyebrow pencil, and it is slightly angled and it has like a triangle shape, so it's really good for getting the precise brow hairs as well as shading. This is a really, really good product, relatively new to my collection, but I think the priciest brow product. I use typically pretty affordable brow products because I don't think brows are super important in my routine, and I usually just use a brow gel and all that jazz. So yeah, this is the most pricey one I could find. It's also really pretty with the square shape. It's almost like a pencil, so it's really easy to hold. But we're going to take the spoolie and blend all that in. We're all browed up, and that looks absolutely incredible. And now we're going to move on to the next part, which is mascara. For mascara, the two expensive ones I could find were from Giverny. This is their Milchak Sensitive Mascara, I think. Yep, Sensitive, which means it is super, super thin and you can get to every single lash perfectly. Really love this one for that reason. I actually have two shades. One is black, one's dark brown. So I'm going to use both on the top. The top, I'll be using the black mascara, and the bottom, I'll be using the dark brown. I really struggled trying to find a really expensive mascara. I realized most in my collection are quite affordable because I just find affordable mascaras work the same and they look really good on me. Now, because these are so thin, it really gets to each individual lash and lengthens. But because the look I'm doing is quite dramatic, I don't think we can see the effects, and it doesn't voluminize like crazy either. Okay, we are mascaraed up, and we're going to move on to the final step of our routine, which are the lips. Now for lips, I do have three very beautiful products with me, and they're all juicy based, so I'm just gonna leave the lip balm on. But let's start off first with the lipstick. This is the YSL Rouge Volupte Shine in the shade 151. It's beautiful, balmy lipstick that is orange tinted, which I love, and it's great for every single day again. And I'm just going to put this all over. Look at that. It is surprisingly pigmented for a balmy texture lipstick, but I absolutely adore using this. This is my favorite formula for a glossy lip, and it just looks so good for any day. Absolutely adore it. And now I'm going to go in with a little bit of lip liner. This is the Wayne Goss Essential Lip Pencil in the shade Mauve. I love this one for every single day, and I've used quite a bit of this. And then I'm just going to trace my lips. To top it all off, I'm going to use a little bit of the Patrick Ta Major Volume Plumping Gloss, and I think this is the shade She's an Influencer. I really can't remember. I can't find it here. But this is a beautiful plumping gloss. It does not have any shimmers in it. It's just this beautiful pink, and it really does plump the lips up. So just a little bit on my Cupid's bow. Today we are just serving extra dewy lips, and this is a beautiful plumper. It's comfortable and it really does plump the lips. To top everything off, I'm going to use a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray and seal it all in. Well guys, that concludes today's makeup look. This is a full face of using the most expensive products I own, and the amount is a little bit insane. I'm going to do the math calculations, but this is the full price value. I usually buy a lot of these on discount, so I didn't really spend that much money technically, but all of these products are very luxurious and worth the experience, and they do perform very highly as well. So if you see anything that you love, please comment down below and I'll give you a spiel on that. But overall, I really love this look, and it is a little bit something, I guess, out of my comfort zone, especially the eyes and the matching bright lip. I usually go for a super bright eye and a nude lip, or super bright lip and super nude eye. I don't really usually do this combination, but it's fun to experiment and play around with all that. But aside from that, that is it for today's video. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up or either subscribe to my channel and comment down below what you would like to see next from me. See you guys for the next one.